Talking about Escape, obviously a big show that dropped recently is the Beauty and the Bester. That show, you know what it is, Neb? I have a few thoughts on it. And obviously, for those who have been living under a rock, I don't know who is that.
Not me.
Yeah.
On this one, not me.
Thabo Bester is a serial rapist, a murderer at this point. A lot of things. That was in jail, and then while he was in jail, there were a lot of women visiting him and all of that, and amongst them was he was getting a lot of love letters. He was like, it's insane. And then amongst those was the famous.
He's a Casanova.
He is, which I don't get. He's like, I don't.
Yeah, like he's not the most amazing looking.
But maybe because we know what we know, so we see the darkness now. So anyways, one of those people was Dr. Nandipha Magudumana, who was obviously famous doctor, who I knew her from, because she was on McG, she was on like, she had a skincare, she has a big business. She's a proper celebrity. So even before all of this, she was a proper celebrity. And then the first time that we see kind of in the media buzzings of links, those of us who, but it probably wasn't mainstream, it's just those of us who like to read newspapers. The first time we heard buzzes of Nandipha and Thabo Bester was when Thabo Bester died. We'll go about the dying circumstances, when he allegedly died in prison, when he burned. And then they said that the mother, so there was a dispute. The mother wanted the body so that she could bury her son, but they said the mother can't get the body because someone else who claimed to be the wife of Thabo Bester has claimed the body. And that turned out to be Dr. Nandipha. That got murky because Dr. Nandipha is already married and has kids. And so I do want to say, just before we get on all this, because I think an important factor in this whole Thabo Bester story, which you probably won't even have enough time to go through, journalists, shout out to journalists. I feel like journalists are the last line of defense for truth and knowledge in this country that is unfiltered, because this whole story of Thabo Bester, officials, police were so implicated in bad ways and they were not acting. And it was journalists that were leading everything that we know, the stories that came out, everything about Thabo Bester now being off the street. I would credit to, of course, a lot of different people, but journalists being the main one, who were really pushing this matter, saying, no, but it doesn't match. The body that was burned doesn't match the height of Thabo Bester. Thabo Bester was seen on, they were just putting together the pieces.
Yeah, I saw that. I was just like, but I mean,
they were putting together the piece. And shout out to Usis Tidi Madia, who is a renowned political journalist who just passed away, I think 2 weeks ago or last month. She was one of the journalists that went with Ramaphosa to have that bullshit meeting with Trump.
Ramaphosa.
Shout out to her. She was one of the best one. Died at a very young age. I think she was 42. So it's just very tragic. Shout out to her. And I hope there's other political journalists that will keep the work going. Because we wouldn't know everything that we know that is important without journalists. Anyways, I did want to ask you, because with Nandipha, because that story, this particular documentary was focusing on Nandipha. It wasn't focusing on Thabo. It was focusing on her and her psychology. I want to ask you, what is the line between, because I'm like, I empathize with her in many ways, but at the same time, I don't want to infantilize her. I don't want to take her like she's not an old person with autonomy and agency who's capable of making decisions, because she was also responsible for hiding the bodies and scamming people. But at the same time, she probably was, because Thabo Bester is such a monster. We saw his voice notes on the thing. We do know he was threatening her in their relationship, but there were also a lot of other moments where it seems like she was choosing to do some things. Like, what are your thoughts? How do you balance that when you think about Nandipha?
One word, possessed.
That's a good, that actually...
She was possessed, because, I mean, I can think of like, even just me when I've fallen in love with a guy.
Yeah.
And later on, you're like, what? You're a smart girl. You are intelligent.
But imagine if that guy had 20 rapes under his belt.
Love is foolish. I promise you, love is freaking... Because it is toxic. Yeah.
God
the fact that he's a serial rapist and all those things, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, what the were you thinking? Yeah. But guys, the truth is, love is foolish. It's not about intellect. It's not about how smart you are and da 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 da.
It's emotions.
Because
it's
the same. It's the same as when you're in an abusive relationship. Yeah. Your family will be telling you, "Get out,"
and you won't see
this is not okay.
What do you think?
But also, the dude plays on the emotional
vulnerability.
Yeah, of the woman as well. So it's a lot of things, and it's also just like, what is her self-worth? What does she? But you know what really got me?
Yeah.
Besides the fact that she knew that she was helping out a serial rapist, I don't know what he had on her.
Yeah.
Like, you left your kids.
She did. She left those kids, and she didn't even fetch them from school. When she got away, the kids were just in school, like waiting for someone to pick them up.
I watched that documentary and I was like,
she
wow.
Left her kids. Also, when she was spending time with Thabo Bester, she was with her kids. When that picture was taken at the Woolworths, she was with. So the kids were around this serial rapist.
Knowing that he was a serial rapist.
That's insane to me. That's absolutely
insane.
No,
it's wild. And then when you see the footage of them in court and the way they look at each other, it looks for real. Yeah. No, she was possessed.
I want to know, do you think?
And she needs help.
And I'm assuming that she's at a point where she has been at the point where she's like, I fucked up. Assuming, maybe she hasn't. But if she has, what do you think was do you think it's when they were caught, or do you think there was a time during the escape when she was like, yo, this is too much, but she was already in too deep? Yeah. Because once she had committed some crimes, I'm sure even Thabo was blackmailing her, like, yeah, you in too deep now. Yeah. Do you think it was during that time or at the end when she was like,
you in too deep, we in it to the end together? Because if you now report me,
we go together.
Yeah. And so we might as well enjoy the time we have now.
Which is a crazy fallacy, because
until it happens.
You'd rather aiding, abetting a criminal, as opposed to your one charge maybe that you've amassed. Oh, but they'd already burned. But
crazy, like, guys, I want to hear from the Tanzanians. They went to Tanzania.
Exactly.
I'm like, did you see these people at the beach? Like, actually a lot of South Africans have moved to Tanzania. Hey? Right. So I'm like, I'm sure they saw them.
For me, that's not ambitious enough.
They had that much money to buy an island.
Saying. You can't. I was so disappointed. Okay, I did want them to be found, but when they were found, I was surprised by, first of all, how quickly they found them. Second of all, how little they were doing. They didn't even have disguises. Believe in yourself as a criminal. Believe in yourself.
But also, I'm like, don't you guys watch movies? Why did you stay in one country? Then Bonnie and Clyde never stay in one country.
They were the most disappointing Bonnie and Clyde
duo
ever.
Okay, from here, where are we going? Because, of course, they're gonna find you. Actually, you know what this has proved? Yeah. We always say that our South African intelligence or the police,
it's up there.
That it's crap. That it's crap. But I'm like, this one,
when they want to,
it was like FBI. This one, hey,
yeah.
Like it's like in South Africa we have FBI. Because I'm just like, up to now they haven't found AK's killer. Up to now they haven't found that famous soccer player's killer, Senzo's killer. And I know who killed Senzo. Okay, guys, no, please cut that out.
Can you look into the camera and say, no one's gonna cut this out?
No, cut that one.